Welcome to another deep dive with us. This time we're heading down to Jamaica. But hold on, we're not talking beaches and cocktails.
Right. Now, we're diving into something a bit more unpredictable, the world of Jamaican agriculture. And let me tell you, the prices are a wild ride right now.
A wild ride, you say? Almost like a roller coaster, huh?
You got it. Up, down, all over the place. We've got data covering the past 90 days, ending February 1st, 2025, 49 different agricultural products across all the parishes, and it's a real mix.
Okay, so paint me a picture here. What are we seeing in this data? Give me some specifics. What's going up, what's going down, and how wild are we talking?
Well, take plenty tomatoes, for example. They've shot up a crazy 168%. It's like everyone suddenly needs them for their jerk chicken.
Wow, 168%. Now that's a price surge. Guess I'm sticking to regular tomatoes for now. But what about some of the other staples? What else is going on?
Well, some things are actually doing quite well. Scotch Bonnet Peppers, for instance, they're also up there with the tomatoes. So if you're growing those, you're probably smiling right now.
All right, so hot peppers are hot, literally. What about the cooler side of things? Anything taking a dip?
Oh, yeah. Green peppers, for example, they've taken a major hit, down a whopping 62%. Pak Choi and Callaloo also decided to join the downward trend.
So we've got tomatoes and Scotch bonnets through the roof, green peppers in the basement. I mean, this doesn't sound very balanced, does it? I'm starting to think that roller coaster analogy was pretty spot on.
Yeah, I'd say so. But here's the thing. Overall, the market sentiment is actually neutral.
Neutral? Hold on. How can it be neutral? With some prices skyrocketing and others plummeting. That doesn't sound very neutral to me, especially for the farmers trying to make a living.
You're absolutely right to question that. Neutral basically means the overall supply and demand are more or less in balance. But that's not the whole story, is it?
No, definitely not. It sounds like there's a lot more to it than just a simple neutral label. So what's the missing piece here? What else do we need to consider?
Well, let's look at the volatility index. It's currently sitting at a pretty hefty 40.55%.
A volatility index.
Okay, now you're just using fancy terms to confuse me. Break it down for us regular folks. What does that actually mean for someone out there planting and harvesting?
It means prices are all over the place. Like, seriously unpredictable. Imagine trying to hit a moving target. That's kind of what it's like for farmers right now.
So these wild price swings are actually a bit of a double-edged sword then. Opportunities, but also a lot of risks.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so we've got this neutral market with crazy price swings. Let's break it down a bit further. What are some other examples that really stand out to you for the data?
We already mentioned the plummy tomatoes. Definitely a head scratcher there. Scotch bonnets, as we said, are doing well. But then you have things like those green peppers, down 62%, like I said, and Pak Choi and Callaloo are also taking a dive. It really makes you wonder what's driving these huge differences.
Yeah, I mean, is it just about good harvests, bad harvests, or is there something else going on? Because if I'm a farmer, I need to know what I'm up against. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's definitely more than just the harvest. You've got consumer demand, weather patterns, even the cost of getting those goods from farm to market and all across Jamaica. It's a puzzle, really, with a lot of pieces.
This is where I start to feel overwhelmed. It's a lot to process, especially when you're trying to make smart decisions for your farm. So where do we even begin to untangle all of this?
Well, the report emphasizes diversification as a key strategy for Jamaican farmers right now. You know, not putting all your eggs in one basket and all that.
Okay, diversification, I've heard that term thrown around a lot. But what does that actually look like in practice? Like, how do you actually diversify as a farmer?
Think of it this way. Instead of focusing all your energy on just one crop, you spread out your risk by growing a variety of things. So if the price of one crashes, you've got others to fall back on. It's like a safety net for your farm.
That makes sense, but wouldn't that also be a lot more work? Switching crops, learning new techniques, I imagine that can be pretty daunting for a farmer.
It definitely can be. And that's where those recommendations in the report come in. Remember, this data isn't just for observation, it's designed to help you take action.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's dive into those recommendations. What's the first actionable step for our Jamaican farmers out there?
Well, the data highlights some regions that are having real trouble with their supply. We're talking St. Anne's, St. Elizabeth, St. Mary's, St. Thomas, and St. James. They're all showing signs of scarce supply across the board.
So what's the solution? Should farmers in those regions just pack up and move?
Not at all. It's more about getting creative with their supply chains. The report suggests looking into what they call supply chain diversification.
Okay, another term to unpack. What exactly does that mean, and how can it actually help?
Imagine this. You could partner with farmers in parishes that have a surplus, like Westmoreland, for example, or Trelawney. Get your supplies from them instead of relying on sources further away or more expensive ones.
So instead of competing against each other, farmers could be helping each other out. That's actually a pretty cool concept.
Exactly. Collaboration over competition.
I like it. Now, while we're on the topic of regional differences, something in this regional insights data caught my eye. For example, the average prices in Kingston and St. Andrew are way higher than in other regions, while St. James has the lowest. Why such a big difference? I thought we were talking about a neutral market.
Right. It really shows you how important it is to understand each parish's unique dynamics.
So it's not just about Jamaica as a whole, but understanding those smaller markets within the country as well.
Absolutely. Got to zoom in. Think about Kingston. It's the capital, lots of people, and a major tourism hub. All those things drive up demand, which can lead to those higher prices we're seeing. St. James, on the other hand, might have more local production going on, or a different way that people consume things altogether. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Makes sense. Speaking of different situations, I noticed something else in the data. There are NA values for Kingston and St. Andrews supply status. What's the deal with that? Is there just no data, or is something else going on?
That's a good question. It's possible that Kingston relies heavily on imports or sources outside of this particular data set. Or maybe their demand patterns are so unique that they aren't fully captured here. It's a bit of a mystery, to be honest.
A mystery, huh? Well, this just got even more interesting. I guess it's time to put on our detective hats and see what we can uncover.
Exactly. As we dig deeper, we'll likely find even more insights and maybe even a few more mysteries to solve.
This has been quite the roller coaster ride already, and it seems like we've only just begun. It sounds like we need to take a closer look at these regional dynamics and figure out how to turn this volatility into an advantage. But for now, let's dive into part 2 and see what other insights we can uncover. Stay tuned.